What's up guys, my name is ESO and welcome to the channel where I show you awesome things in Fallout 4. This is a rough guide on how to make a very effective melee character for both stealth and for those of you who just like to run in there and hit like a truck. In Fallout 4 you only have 21 special stats to invest in your character. This is less than in previous games. So your character can no longer be a jack of all trades that can do everything, not until much later in the game. Therefore you will find to get the most out of your starting character, it's actually really effective to specialise in the role that you want to play and master it early on. Then you can round off your character later on and do other things like crafting or shooting. So this is a starting build to make your character specialise early on. It will give them access to all the perks they need right from the start. Remember that the game is not actually out yet, so take everything I say with a pinch of salt. I'm going off my past experience of previous games and what I've studied in the gameplay footage. That said, if you're watching this video in a few months' time, please check the description. I have probably updated this guide with a new video. So let us begin the close combat build. I'll talk about the variants at the end. We're going to start off with a heavy hitting close combat build who uses large weapons like super sledges. First off, bump up your strength to 9. You can get bobbleheads later in the game, which will give you another point, making your strength 10. This will allow you to grab all the perks for close combat. This will be great for you because the perk at strength 10 allows you to run into people and send them flying. Obviously, when they're on the floor, they can't do anything to you, so you can just smash their face in. It also means that you do more damage per hit with your melee weapons, and you can carry a ton of crap around, like plates, toasters, and other stuff that you just don't need but you think you do. Perception 1. It's pretty much useless to you. It affects your accuracy in VATS, but because as a melee character you will be just swinging away right up in their face, you won't really need this. Indeed, it can be more useful in a stealth character because it tells you where the enemies are, a little bit like a small radar. But to be honest, if you're just careful, you won't have any issues. So yes, it is helpful, but no, you don't need it. Endurance 6. You will want this at least at 5, so you can access the Life Giver perk, which gives you even more health. It will also allow you to get the Toughness perk, which makes you more durable, but I also suggest putting it at 6 for some added health. After all, the Endurance stat gives you more health, and lets you sprint for longer, which I'll talk about in a moment. And let's be honest, you're probably going to be getting hit quite a lot in melee. You can put it up higher, but there are some more important stats that you might want instead. Remember that it's much better for you to do more damage and kill your enemy faster, because then you will take less damage overall. And in that regard, it makes sense for you to have less health, or more damage than you do health. Oh, and yes, you can grab the chem resistance too, so you can drug up on Psycho and not get addicted to it. Charisma 1. It's a situational stat and you don't really need it unless it suits your playstyle. But if you're running around and slaughtering people, I'm assuming, no, you're a complete savage. Intelligence 2. The only thing we really need from this tree is the perk that allows us to craft medicine, which we get at level 2. I guess you could just have it at 1 and buy all your supplies though. And then that gives you an extra point to put somewhere else. Next up we have agility, and we're going to put that at 7. Now it gets interesting here. Agility governs your action points. As you can now sprint in Fallout 4, and when you do sprint it uses up action points, you will want to have a decent amount so that you can close the distance between yourself and whoever is shooting you as fast as possible, obviously. Now remember, what I said earlier about endurance affecting how long you can sprint for, well, I have not done the maths, but you may find that having a higher endurance is more effective than having a higher agility. This indeed may be the case for non-stealth builds. But that said and done, you may still want to go to agility 6. This will allow you to get the avoidance perk, and we're not so sure what this perk does yet, but it will mean that you get hit less. So it's key for getting us into combat and not getting shot to pieces. But then, as I said earlier, if you have more health, you could counter that anyway, so use your best judgment. Now it's also worth noting that agility governs the stealth skill and how hard you are to detect. So for those of you playing a stealth melee character, this is a very important stat. This is why you might as well put it up to 7 to get the ninja perk. This perk, if it's anything like the old Fallout game, will give you more damage to sneak attacks. Lastly, we have the luck stat. This again depends on how you are playing the game. You can, if you are planning on investing in other stats, like having higher endurance, ignore it completely. However, I do suggest putting it at least 3 so you can get the bloody mess perk. This perk basically gives you more damage and makes everyone. As a final melee build, I suggest Strength 9, Perception 1, Charisma 1, Endurance 6, Intelligence 2, Agility 6 and Luck 3. And that's the standard melee build for a heavy hitting character. So if you want to play this character, you'll most likely use a large club weapon so you can just kill your enemies and a few powerful strikes. Next we're going to look at the stealth build. So this is an interesting one because with the stealth build, you'll be using light weapons like knives, possibly dual wielding them. Therefore your strength only needs to be as high as the requirement for that weapon. For example, at strength 1, you can actually make a pretty good unarmed character who can still be as effective as the last build by just punching and critical hitting people. However, having strength 3 will allow you to craft armor, which is going to be useful to you in melee. And having strength 4 will let you craft close combat weapons. I'd say that you don't really need to go higher than that. Depending on what you do though, you can dump the extra points into endurance or agility, preferably agility. As for endurance, because of the nature of a sneaky character, you will not be getting hit as much, so you should be fine at about 4. Put 7 in agility for the ninja perk. You can also go with 9, so you can get the escape perk, which at a guess could make you vanish or go invisible to run away, but we don't know yet. And then finally, increase your luck skill to 9. This will mean that you're going to be critical hitting like a boss. So grab a fast hitting weapon like a knife and get lucky and chop people's limbs off. With your sneak attack damage, it will be insane. Remember that you can still increase your special stats as you progress through the game. Once you level up your character, you can choose to level up one of your special stats instead of choosing a perk if you like. Anyway guys, I really hope that you found this video helpful and it gave you some insightful information into how you want to build your character and play the game. Check out the description for my other build guides like the sniper, the gunslinger and so on. I'll also put any updated videos in the description, and you might also want to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest guides. But until then guys, I ESO will see you, loyal subscribers, in the next Fallout 4 episode.